form located on our district website before we reach H on the agenda. This form opens for a comment at the beginning of the meeting and is turned off once we get through the public comment portion of the meeting. You may also call into the meeting to speak by calling 540-835-0096. The PIN number is 773-783-849. The board will announce when they are ready for public comment. Please unmute yourself at that time. Thank you for your support of Buchanan Community Schools. Our next item on the agenda is the ceremonial oath of office. This will be taken by our new members, Katie Berry, Chris Carlson, and Dr. Scott Carlin. All please raise your right hand and repeat after me. Okay. I do solemnly swear.
I do solemnly swear
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
And the Constitution of this state.
and the Constitution of this state.
And that I will faithfully discharge the duties of office member
And that I will faithfully discharge the duties of office member
of the Board of Education
of the Board of Education
for Buchanan Community Schools,
for Buchanan Community Schools,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my abilities.
According to the best of my abilities.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Lee,
Present.
Mrs. Berry,
Present.
Mr. Carlson,
Present.
Mrs. Lash,
You're muted, Kelly.
Sorry. Present.
perfect. Dr. Carlin,
Present.
Mrs. Ryder,
Here.
Dr. Burnett.
Here.
Thank you. Next, we are on agenda item D, and this will be taken over by our senior member of the board.
We lied.
All right. We need to move to a motion to appoint serving as acting chair until the election of a president has been completed. And I would recommend that we appoint the superintendent, Trish Robinson, to do that, to serve as acting chairperson until the election of the president has completed.
Support.
Any discussion? Okay, roll call.
Mr. Lee,
Yes.
Mrs. Berry,
Yes.
Mr. Carlson,
Yes.
Mrs. Lash,
Yes.
Dr. Carlin,
Yes.
Mrs. Ryder,
Yes.
Dr. Burnett.
Yes.
So we are on agenda item E, election of president. First one to nominate a member for president gets to be voted on first. Then the vote is taken until a nominee receives 4 votes. If the first nominee does not receive 4 votes, a member would then nominate another member, and votes will be taken again. I need a nomination.
Okay. I, Ruth Ryder, nominate Dr. Harvey Burnett to serve as president of the Buchanan Board of Education until the organizational meeting in January of 2022.
Support.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Lee,
Yes.
Mrs. Berry,
Yes.
Mr. Carlson,
Yes.
Mrs. Lesh,
Yes.
Dr. Carlin,
Yes.
Mrs. Ryder,
Yes.
and Dr. Burnett.
Yes. Okay. All right. I guess that's moving on now. Moving on to the next item, which is for the election of the vice president. The same instructions. First one to nominate for the vice president gets to be voted on first. Then the vote is then taken until the nominee receives 4 votes. If the first nomination does not receive 4 votes, a member would then nominate another member and votes taken again. So can we have a nomination for vice president?
I make a motion, Kelly Lesh, to nominate Ruth Ryder to serve as Vice President of the Buchanan Board of Education until the organizational meeting in January of 2022.
Support.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Lee,
Yes.
Mrs. Berry,
Yes.
Mr. Carlson,
Yes.
Mrs. Lesh,
Yes.
Dr. Carlin,
Yes.
Mrs. Ryder,
Yes.
Dr. Burnett.
Yes. Okay, moving on for the nomination of secretary. Again, the same instructions. First one to nominate a member for the secretary goes to be voted on first, and then the vote is taken until the nomination receives 4 votes. If the first nomination does not receive 4 votes, then a member would then nominate another member and vote be taken again. With that said, can we have a nomination for secretary?
I, Ruth Ryder, nominate Kelly Lesh to serve as the Secretary of the Board of Education until the organizational meeting in January of 2022.
Second.
Okay. Discussion?
I accept.
All right, roll call.
Mr. Lee,
Yes.
Mrs. Berry,
Yes.
Mr. Carlson,
Yes.
Mrs. Lesh,
Yes.
Dr. Carlin,
Yes.
Mrs. Ryder,
Yes.
and Dr. Burnett.
Yes. Okay, moving on to the nomination of treasurer. Again, the first to nominate the member for treasurer goes, to be voted on first. Then the vote is taken until the nominee receives 4 votes. If the first nominee does not receive 4 votes, a member would then nominate another member and votes be taken again. With that said, can we have the nomination for treasurer?
I, Kelly Lesh, nominate Chris Lee to serve as treasurer of the Buchanan Board of Education until the organizational meeting in January of 2022.
Support.
All right. Any discussion? Roll call.
I am now doing it. Sorry.
That's right.
Mr. Lee.
Yes, sorry, don't forget, you now must do it.
Yes, I guess.
Ms. Berry.
Yes.
Mr. Carlson.
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes. Dr. Carlin.
Yes.
Ms. Ryder.
Yes.
Dr. Burnett.
Yes,
7 yeses. Motion has been adopted.
very good. And we have our board executive committee going on here. And with that said, let's go on and do the item F, adoption of the agenda.
I make a motion that the Buchanan Board of Education adopt the organizational board meeting, agenda for the organizational board meeting of January 12th, 2021 be adopted as written.
Support.
Any questions about the agenda? All right, roll call.
Mr. Lee,
Yes.
Ms. Berry,
Yes.
Mr. Carlson,
Yes.
Ms. Lesh? Yes. Dr. Carlin?
Yes.
Ms. Ryder?
Yes.
Dr. Burnett?
Yes.
7 yeses, motion is adopted.
Very good. All right, moving on to item G, recognition of visitors. We welcome you all to our meeting tonight. I'm not sure if there's any other special people out there. Can't quite tell. But we're glad to have you here with us this beginning of the new year of 2021. So, moving on to community dialogue, citizens' concerns. Michelle, can you check to see if there is anything there?
There is not.
There is not.
Nope.
Okay. All right. With that said, moving on to item I1, 2021 committee changes. And if we take a look, we need a motion there. There has been a change to some of the usual committees that we've had in the past, and we need a motion there to accept the committee changes.
I make a motion, the Buchanan Board of Education approves the changes to the committee assignments.
You want us to list them?
Oh, what is what is shown? I can list them, sorry. So,
The ones
Sorry.
with the stars.
yeah, no problem. So the 2021 committees, budget just renamed finance, personnel renamed human resources. The technology, we're going to eliminate technology because it is integrated in most of the big committees. For instance, communication, curriculum, facilities. The Curriculum Council be renamed to Curriculum and Programming. The Capital Planning be called Facilities. And I think that is it. Everything else stays the same.
You missed communication to public
Oh, I'm
relations.
sorry. There was no star. Communication to Public Relations.
And
Support.
just real quick, add the Farm Advisory and Emergency Security committees are going to be ad hoc committees. So just to kind of add that there. All right.
Okay.
With that said, any questions? Sorry, I had to quiet the thoughts there. It was just getting a little crazy. With that said, may we have roll call, please?
Mr. Lee,
Yes.
Miss Berry,
Yes.
Mr. Carlson,
Yes.
Miss Lesh, yes. Dr. Carlin,
Yes.
Miss Ryder,
Yes.
Dr. Burnett,
Yes.
7 yeses, motion has been adopted.
Okay. All right, moving on to item I2, committee assignments. And we will be going through the committee assignments here. And then once we've gone through, we'll adopt that as a formal motion. Each of those committees we just talked about. And usually we go through the rotation of seniority. So the most senior person picks first and then so on. And we'll go from there. I think Michelle is going to be putting this up for us to see. And so I don't have the seniority list. So does somebody have that?
That'd be you, Harvey.
That would be me. Oh, I am. All right.
That
Jill?
would be you.
Okay. So I will do board policy.
And then next would be Ruth.
And I'll do human resources. And then Kelly.
I will do human resources. Next will be Chris Lee.
Facilities.
And then the next will be Katie Berry.
I'll do human resources.
Next, Chris Carlson.
Facilities.
And Dr. Carlin,
Curriculum.
and then Harvey again.
Put me down for. I lost it. Emergency security.
Ms. Ryder,
I think we talked prior that it's a good idea to have 2 members on curriculum. We did last year. So I'll take curriculum if that's okay with everyone. Trish? Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
and then I will do public relations. And then Chris Lee,
Finance.
and then Katie,
Public relations.
and then Chris Carlson,
Finance.
and Dr. Carlin.
Public relations.
And then back to Harvey.
Let me do the MSB voting delegate.
Ms. Ryder.
Policy.
And I would like the Farm Advisory Board. And Mr. Lee,
Emergency security.
and Miss Berry.
Board policy.
And Mr. Carlson,
Security.
and Dr. Carlin.
I'll do the Breeza representative. The Reza.
The Risa. And then back to Dr. Burnett.
Yeah, I do get to pass, but I'll do facilities, I guess, this time.
Miss Ryder.
Oh boy. I'll do the bear. No, I'll do finance. I don't do much with money, but okay, I'll do finance.
And then me, and I think there's one left, and I'll be the lucky winner. I think it's the board what is that? Oh, school board association. Sorry. Oh no, there's we got alternates. I didn't see that. So we got 3 more. So Chris Lee,
I'll do the B RISA alternate.
and then Miss Berry,
MASB.
and Mr. Carlson.
I think I got the last one.
Yep. Harmless.
All right. Let's have a motion then to adopt the committees as we've agreed to.
I'll make a motion that the Buchanan Board of Education appoints the following board members to the committees as specified on Michelle's page for the 2021 calendar year.
Second.
All right. Any questions? All right. Roll call.
Sorry, that's me. Mr. Lee, it's on the next page, so it doesn't remind me. Mr. Lee,
Yes.
Miss Berry,
Yes.
Mr. Carlson,
Yes.
Miss Lesh, yes. Dr. Carlin,
Yes.
Miss Ryder,
Yes.
and Dr. Burnett.
Yes.
7 yeses. Motion has been adopted.
Okay. Moving on to item I, recommended action, looking at number 3, building liaisons, and basically for our newer board members, basically what we kind of do is board members, at least 2, adopt a building that is theirs to kind of visit as it like, and kind of take it on as their own as far as involvement and things of that nature. So we usually just open this up as far, or Kelly will go through and ask. Usually I'm on all 3 of them, so I really don't list
Right.
myself because I have to be in all the buildings because of what I do at the police department. So Kelly, go ahead and go through.
And one more comment. Usually if you want, you can choose like where your kids are so you can see them more. We kind of allow that. So if you want to pick that, feel free. And we don't want to take anybody's spot if you want that. So, and they invite you to different things. The schools, once Patricia gets them the list, they'll start inviting you to stuff. And sometimes they'll invite all of us. So just so you know.
Right.
But let's do the high school. Anybody interested?
Kelly, can I make a
Sure.
Oh, I was going to say, since we have 3 new members and kids and all of that kind of stuff, if we reverse the order of seniority, and then, I can be last and take whatever.
Sure. Dr. Carlin, take your pick. Tell me what you want.
I think with some endeavors that we have going on, I think the high school would be a good pick for me to start.
Okay.
Even though I don't have any kids there yet, but assuming I make it through all 6 of these years, I eventually will. So
Jump right in. Mr. Carlson.
I'll take Moccasin.
Miss Berry?
The middle school?
Mr. Lee?
Middle school, please.
Did you say middle? You were correct.
Middle, yes.
Okay. And then I will do Ottawa. And then Ruth?
I'll do high school.
And then back to Dr. Carlin. If you want to pass,
can you
through,
explain
can.
a little?
You can
Can you
pass.
explain just a little bit real quick about what the virtual academy rep would do exactly?
I've done that in the past, Scott. And so I just touch base with Mr. Fry, also involved with their graduation
Awards.
awards. And so it's a little bit different.
There's a county dinner that they do to honor the different programs. So sometimes we all get invited to that, but those kind of things just to support the program.
Okay, I'll give that a shot. I'll do the virtual.
Mr. Carlson?
Ottawa, I guess. Yes.
And Miss Berry.
Moccasin.
All righty.
All right. Can we have a motion to adopt the buildings as liaisons as listed?
I make a
I'll make-
motion. Oh, sorry. Did you
Nope,
go?
go ahead.
Go, girl. Go.
I'll make the motion to adopt the board
Can you-
members to serve the capacity of the building liaisons specified in Michelle's list.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Lee,
Yes.
Miss Berry,
Yes.
Mr. Carlson,
Yes.
Miss Lesh, yes. Dr. Carlin,
Yes.
Miss Ryder,
Yes.
Dr. Burnett,
Yes.
7 yeses. Motion has been adopted.
Very good. Moving on to item I4, our legal annual adoption of legal counsel. May I have a motion, please?
I make a motion the Buchanan Board of Education appoints Truan Law Firm of Lansing, Michigan as board legal counsel for the 2021 calendar year. If needed, the board also approves the use of Clark Hill Law Firm specifically for legal counsel of personnel and human resource concerns.
Support.
All right. Mrs. Robinson, any further information on this?
Yes, I asked to add Clark Hill due to my experience with that group, with that firm, especially around their expertise with personnel matters. They're not asking for a retainer fee, just using them as on a need basis, as a need basis.
Okay, very good. Any questions by board members?
Where are they located?
You're going to ask the question, so I'll check it and have it in the chat in a few minutes.
Okay.
And then do we have a retainer for Truan, right? Don't we pay there's a fee every year or whatever.
Correct. Right. All right. Any other discussion?
One question, are they also have a specialty with education?
Clark Hill does.
Okay.
And Truan does too. They're both educational law firms. I have utilized Baron Risa. Baron Risa uses Clark Hill a lot for a lot of their personnel matters as it relates to education.
All right. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Lee,
Yes.
Miss Berry,
Yes.
Mr. Carlson,
Yes.
Miss Lesh, yes. Dr. Carlin,
Yes.
Miss Ryder,
Yes.
Dr. Burnett.
Yes. All right.
7
moving on-
yeses. Motion is adopted.
Very good. Moving on to item I, recommended action other. Looking at the item 5, school depositories. May we have a motion, please?
I make a motion that the following institutions be retained as depositories for the appropriate school funds for the 2021 calendar year. General Fund, United Federal Credit Union. Payroll, United Federal Credit Union. Food Service Fund, United Federal Credit Union. Trust Agency Fund, United Federal Credit Union. Debt Retirement Funds, 2013, United Federal Credit Union. Building and Site Fund, United Federal Credit Union. Miscellaneous Funds, Honor Credit Union. Investments, Michigan Class Investment Pool.
Support.
Mrs. Robinson, any comments on the depositories?
I know these are all depositories that we've used in the past. I know Tricia in a discussion earlier, she looks for the best kind of interest rates for those depositories. So no, that's about it.
Okay. Any discussion from or questions from board members? All right. Roll call.
Mr. Lee,
Yes.
Miss Berry,
Abstain based on my employment of one of those.
Mr. Carlson,
Yes.
Miss Lesh, yes. Dr. Carlin,
Yes.
Miss Ryder,
Yes.
Dr. Burnett.
Yes.
6
All right.
yeses. Motion has been adopted.
Okay. Very good. Moving on to item I, recommended action other. Item 6, 2021 board calendar. May we have a motion to adopt?
Make a motion that the 2021 Board of Education meeting calendar is approved as written.
I'll support.
Okay. Very good. Mrs. Robinson, anything to mention about the calendar? Or?
The only thing I want to bring to everyone's attention is that the meeting in February is on Tuesday. because that Monday is President's Day and our staff.
Very good. Any questions from board members?
I think we've had one in the past just of the June having 2 meetings, and that is approval of specific things that we have to have the 2 meetings for, correct? It's something
Okay,
financially that we
yeah,
have to
I
get
think it's
done,
with
but just
adoption
so
of
you
the
know
budget.
why we have 2.
Yeah, it's dealing with the adoption of the budget.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. Any other questions? Okay. Roll call.
Mr. Lee,
Yes.
Ms. Berry,
Yes.
Mr. Carlson,
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes, Dr. Carlin,
Yes.
Ms. Ryder,
Yes.
Dr. Burnett.
Yes. All right.
7 yeses, motion has been adopted.
Moving on to item J, question and comments from board members. This is the beginning of a new school year, so we again welcome our new board members on this nice new journey. And of course, some of us that have been around for a little bit. So we're going to have a good year. Despite all the COVID things, there's some positives probably coming down the pike there. So hopefully, maybe by the fall, things might kind of look a little bit regular, hopefully. Can't say for sure, but hopefully we may, see that happen. Anything else? Comments from board members?
I have a question. Has anything been decided about virtual versus in-person meetings for the board? We have one on Monday. Are we virtual for that?
Sorry, I didn't want to butt in. I haven't heard yet.
Okay.
I know this current order goes to the 15th, and
Correct.
I will reach out to Brad at MASB after just to see where we're at. But if it's extended, then we could do it at the middle school. And if it's extended, it would still be prohibited to meet. And then if she releases it a little bit, we could meet at the middle school.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other comments?
I had a question about the committees. I know it mentioned, and I do remember this from our December meeting, but just wanted to clarify. Even though it said somewhere in tonight's packet about a certain week of the month and a certain time during that week, those committee times are negotiable amongst the members. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And usually what will happen is if there's a need for that, I know Mrs. Robinson is really good about reaching out and helping to work with Michelle to kind of get some, Google Docking or whatever you call that thing, or doodle polling or
Doodle poll.
yeah, that thing, to kind of find out what's the more common time for everybody and then pick a meeting time and date based on that and things. So yeah, that way for your schedule, like Dr. Carlin, you can, put in there what you're available for and can work around that.
Okay. And I'm sure, as whomever, Michelle, I don't want to assume that's you, but sends out kind of a final thing that shows committee listings, et cetera. Will the people not on tonight's meeting that may be part of said committee, will we see a list of who else is on, whatever committee or each of the individual committees in addition to the people present tonight?
Yeah, and then when they send out those doodle polls or when we finally figure out a date, usually an email will come out and then it will have like administrative people that are on it that participate. So you'll see everybody who's going to participate in your meetings.
Okay.
Right. Right. Usually if it's more at the board level, it's just going to be the 3 board members for that particular committee.
Okay. And then I have another request. Yes, I'm very demanding. Is that's what I've been told anyways. I don't personally believe it, but we'll just go with public perception.
We'll work with you.
Yeah, thank you. Is it possible, along with all of the assignments that we've gotten tonight, between committees, the other things like, for example, for myself, the RISA representation, and then for the individual school things, is it possible to put who held each one of those things last? So for reference for us newbies. So if I want to know, if I want to talk to somebody who's been, say, the virtual academy representative, if I wanted to run past things past with them or whatever, we'd have that contact.
Yeah,
I know
Okay.
Trish has been doing a really good job at keeping notes for the committee meetings. So you're going to see stuff that we've been doing, and then you'll be able to kind of review that stuff. And then Scott, because I know you're extremely busy, and Harvey probably can contest to this, but if you have something where you can't possibly go, or if you have something where you are invited, what we do kind of as a group is like, I can't make it. We just want to make sure somebody goes. So we kind of throw it out there. So you'll see where we'll go, I can make it. And then Ruth will go, I can make it, or I can't make it. And you'll start seeing that. Right now with COVID, we haven't had a lot of that. So don't let those things scare you. It's a lot of committees and a lot of things. Yeah. And then like Reese's once a year. So
right.
We didn't tell you that off the bat so we could get the position, but but no, they're really not that busy. So
yeah. The same thing with MASB.
Okay.
MASB.
Yeah, MASB is not that busy.
Right.
Now, Barry and Cass, I don't know, do they ever meet?
I think they met once a long time ago. I think Sandy and I were like, she was going to make it, and then she couldn't, and then because of her work schedule, so I ended up going, and then they ended up not doing it. So I don't even think we've really done anything with that. So it's more like with a vote, and they usually send us paperwork or say this is why we want to be elected, and then you kind of go and we kind of talk about it amongst the board, and then sometimes we'll go do that. But the Barry and Cass, we really haven't done a lot.
Mm-mm. And sometimes Trish or in the past, our other superintendents have asked us to do something. For example, I'm with Trish on the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee with BRISA, with the superintendents and some board members. So some of this just kind of flows. It's very fluid.
Right. Right.
Okay.
And then you'll have also throughout the year, there's also, well, not now since because of the COVID stuff, but usually there's legislative breakfasts that happen throughout the year that BRISA invites our representatives from not only state, but also at the federal level with education that we meet. And usually something is sent out that says if you want to go, which is good to go to find out what's going on as far as legislatively with education in the state of Michigan, as well as if you have questions to ask, if they allow us to ask questions when we get a chance to. But those are also good to attend as well.
Those are usually in the spring for a breakfast, if I remember correctly. But those are excellent ways to put faces and names together for the entire county, as well as our lawmakers.
Yep. Okay.
One committee that may be a more informal committee that wasn't included is the Parent Advisory Committee that started. Is that one that there is a designated board representative for? No. Okay.
In the past, and what we've had basically a year and a half of that going, I think, we knew that we couldn't have more than 3, and then it was okay, who can go to that? Is how we did that, and the staff, and I don't think we had a student one because of COVID and so on. But that, again, we kind of just organize who can make this, and are you interested, and so on.
Yep. Okay. All right. Good questions. Yep. Yep. Good questions. Anything else? All right. I think our next board meeting is going to be next week, Monday, January 18th at 6 o'clock. And we'll know, Michelle will send something out to remind us if we're meeting in person with mask or meeting virtually things. So with that, we stand adjourned, and we'll see you guys next week.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you.